Hi, welcome to Walking Wilder. I'm back. This reading is a intuitive reading about the energies at play in your life right now, shadows that are playing out, patterns that are influencing your decisions, what you're going through, that kind of thing. The first card that I pulled here is called Moving Through Discomfort. And there's this feeling of being in the midst of having to make decisions, having to facilitate some change in your life that is just not feeling very comfortable. There's something about expectations from other people, perhaps about, or perhaps from yourself as well. You know, your shadow self, the parts of you, old patterns and things like that. In regards to what this is, setting your own course for something here. It seems very emotional with all the water in this card. You know, it gives me the feeling of a lot of emotions at play, of having to kind of navigate your own emotions, perhaps other people's emotions about whatever it is that you are wanting to do here. It also feels to me like you have made some sort of decision that you intuitively or perhaps factually already knew was going to be somewhat maybe controversial to some of the people that are close to you. So this is not really like an unexpected thing that you are trying to navigate this now. There's something here about being in the midst of whatever this is and knowing that you have to kind of stick to your ear guns in order to, do what is right for you. Wisdom is at the bottom of the deck over here on the side. So, pulling on your own inner wisdom to make the decisions that feel right for you. This feels very aligned, actually, kind of like not a whole lot of BS, but like I know myself, I know this is what I need to do. And yeah, there's that. For some of you, there might also be people around you. See these people here in this circle that are supporting you and that you can actually rely on. And for others, this is more symbolic of people kind of, trying to make you fit into whatever pattern it is that you have had previously with them, whatever the connection is, but this is the way we do things, that type of thing. So, anyways, so welcome in if you're new, welcome back if you've been here before. If you resonate with this type of readings, I would really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. So, yeah, anyways, let's see what Spirit has to say about this. Can I get some information about the challenges with this, Spirit? What is the challenge for the viewers here? That was a lot of cards. Let's see here. Here's the Sun. So you're trying to get to a place that feels more aligned, that feels like my happy place, or, whatever. And this does not have to be a physical place, of course. This can be, a way of being in the world, or some job that you want, or something like that. But it's a place that feels happy, that makes you feel like everything is going the way that it's supposed to go. Here's the Page of Swords. He looks very defensive in this deck to me. And it's like this is you standing up for whatever it is you're wanting to create, wanting to do, wanting to, head towards. There's this sense of I have to kind of, well, not really protect your boundary. Well, that too. I mean, we always have to protect our boundaries, but to be firm, standing firm on my decision, standing firm on whatever it is that you're doing. And that seems to be somewhat of a challenge. But here is the Six of Wands, which is the Success card. And here's Justice. And the Six of Cups, which of course, talks about memories, but to me is also this thing of of childhood patterns, or the way that we see ourselves, what we're capable of, what we are, thinking back to previous times. Over here on the bottom of this deck is rejecting shame. This is where these two cards come from. So there could be some sort of pattern that you're carrying with you that is in play here, is somewhat affecting how you're, how you're moving through this. There can be some karma as well with this, with the Justice card here. I don't know what it is with this mic. I hope you guys are not hearing everything I'm hearing, because that it's kind of like it's rubbing up against something here, my scarf. All right. Let's see, whatever else here, Spirit. What can I know about this? Why is the Justice card here? Tell me about the Justice card. But you're definitely working towards some kind of success here. Something that you know is going to be successful, but you also know that you have to kind of stand on your ground here. Stand firm on wanting to do this. Yeah, here's the Magician. So you've been trying to manifest this for a while, and it's kind of going through this emotional roller coaster thing here. Here's the Page of Swords. Now, Page energy is very young often, and so this is also, to me, being curious about, whatever it is that the patterns that you are carrying with you here. Some of you might be looking back to previous events or childhood events, and kind of seeing, how did I get to this? What can I draw on here? Is there wisdom, with this card that was lying over here? Is there inner wisdom that can help me navigate through whatever this discomfort here is? Here's the Seven of Cups. So there can be, that can be choices, but it can also be things that are a little bit, well, feel scattered here. Kind of like, well, there might be, and actually it doesn't really feel so much as choices as opinions. There might be a lot of different opinions on what it is you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're choosing to doing it, that kind of thing. So there's something around here that is interfering with that Ace of Pentacles here, potential for new growth and abundance. Can I know more about what this is? Of course, it might be different from all of you, but can we get some idea what this decision, what this moving through discomfort is for the people collective that's watching this, Spirit? Queen of Pentacles. So there's something here about, needing to nurture yourself, needing to take care of yourself, to, see yourself in a positive light. Here's the Ten of Swords, which of course is an ending, but it's also something that has been really painful. Some of you are moving into more aligned versions of yourself. You might have had jobs that didn't really, support who you were on a spiritual level, but, you got bread and butter and that type of thing. But this is like having to end situations and connections that are not aligned with who you really are wanting to be, who are basically based on childhood expectations here, who are not aligning with who you're wanting to be, not nurturing, your own soul, your own Page of Pentacles here, who is not nurturing the dream that you're trying to manifest and have been trying to manifest for a while here. Some of you feel like, you have to be on guard and you have to kind of protect yourself from other people's expectations. What's the supporting energy here, Spirit? Three of Swords. Eight of Wands. Movement. Yeah, you're moving away from some kind of heartbreak here. And it doesn't have to be, some romantic thing, but this feels like whatever it is that you're trying to leave behind here, it has felt or you've have kind of like an underlying feeling of sadness for not being able to really truly align with what you came here to do. It can have felt heavy. It can have felt like I'm not really in my heart space. I'm not really, manifesting from a point of being healed. Yeah, you've been looking for a new beginning. Here's the Fool card. Tell me more about the Three of Swords. Why is the Three of Swords here, Spirit? Can I know more about the Three of Swords? Thank you. Six of Pentacles. This talks about generosity, being, but it's also about, giving to others. And there might be a feeling here that you have been giving more to others than what they have been giving to you. And not that, everything always has to be 50-50. But with the Justice card here, it's kind of like something has not really been balanced. It's, you might have felt like, well, I have given more to others than they have given to me, and it's kind of left you feeling somewhat depleted. So, this is Spirit saying you need to give to yourself as well. Yeah, Queen of Cups. Being, this is self-love, this is being in flow, being, taking care of yourself, following what is calling you, setting your own course, kind of leaving these expectations from other people behind you. Can I know more about why is the Six of Pentacles here? The Lovers. Yeah, balance. Balance, give and take, balance in relationships, balance in your everyday life, in having to, find inner harmony, doing something that makes sense to you. Here's the Five of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, whatever it is you're coming from here has been somewhat filled with sadness. There's been grief, and not necessarily in the, I've lost someone type of grief, but more in the, I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like I am really in alignment with what is calling me. It's kind of like, you have this underlying feeling of seeking something that is just not really showing up in your 3D life. This is Nine of Pentacles, being generous with yourself, with your time, your money, your effort, taking care of yourself, being able to build a life that feels sustainable, that feels grounded, that feels like this is, my own abundance that I have created. And that, of course, if you're creating abundance for yourself, you have to have the energy and the, space to manifest for yourself. Here's the Magician. So for most of you, too much time, too much attention, money, whatever it is, has gone to kind of, pursue other people's dreams, if that makes sense. Ten of Wands. Perhaps some of you have been taking care of other people, and it's been a bit of a burden. It's been Nine of Swords. It's caused you stress. It's caused you anxiety. You might not have had, felt like you had enough time in the day, that type of thing. Tell me more here, Spirit. Five of Wands. This can be, this can have been going on for quite some time, and felt like, people competed for your time, for your attention, for your, your way of being in the world. It's like, well, not really having enough time to create space for yourself. Here's the Transformation card. So there's a need for this to change so that you can put more value, create more value for you, Not that you should never give to others and all of that. Of course, that's always a good thing, but it has to be from a balanced point of view. It has to be from a place, where you feel aligned, where you feel balanced. All right. Yeah, here's the Nine of Swords again. Okay, can I have some advice, Spirit? Can we have some advice here? This feels basically like a keep it up, keep going, do your thing. Um, don't, get caught in by everybody else's expectations based on old patterns and childhood memories or, family stuff. This is how we've always done it, that type of thing. This is like, no, keep going, set your own course, trust, that you will find your way. Here's the King of Pentacles. Trust that you can take care of yourself. For some of you, this might be a whole new avenue of income, a whole new way of being in the world. You might change course drastically. And there's something here about trusting that you are capable of doing that. That might not always have been the story that you were told, but you are capable of doing that. All right. Four of Pentacles. Yeah. And here's the Fool card. The Four of Pentacles, that's holding on to your resources, which of course, can be a good thing, but it's also somewhat restrictive. It's kind of like not really believing that you can have more than the Four of Pentacles, that you're actually capable of the Nine or even the 10. So there's something here about letting go of that and stepping into this Queen of Wands energy. She is grounded, she's passionate, she is like, I can take care of me, I can manifest whatever it is that I am desiring. She is like absolutely capable of manifesting whatever it is that, she's wishing. So this is Spirit saying, hey, let go a little bit of the holding on so tight to the way that things have been, and let for some of you, this is other people that are holding on to you, kind of like, and not, in in a physical way, at least I don't hope so, but in the, in ways of expecting that you keep behaving in ways that you have behaved in the past. They're expecting your time, they're expecting your agreements, they are expecting you to choose what they're trying, to get you to choose. And this is Spirit that is like, no, you need to step into the Queen of Wands energy and start thinking about what makes your soul sing. Why are you here? What is it that you are wanting to create with this setting my own course? Is there anything else we should know, Spirit? Oh, that was a lot. Here's the Hierophant. So there's something here that you're learning. Something you're learning about putting your own needs first, about, taking charge of your life. Three of Pentacles here, finding meaning in who and what you work with. How do you, this feels like, how do you put your everyday together? What's the big long-term goals? How do you, what's success to you? There's something about defining what actually do I think success is. Do I have, is there another direction here that is my direction, that's more meaningful to me, that's not based on other people's expectations of who I should be? Queen of Swords, very independent energy. It even has the keyword independence on here. But she sees clearly who she is, and she stands by who she is. She's confident, she is clear-minded, she is capable of seeing what is good for me and setting the course for that. Page of Cups here has the keywords of dreams on it here. So there's something about following the dreams. For some of you, again, pages are young energy. So for some of you, this is like going back to dreams you had when you were younger and never really carried out because, well, life gets in the way. It's, yeah, other people's expectations, all of that. And here's the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment. This is you seeing that I want to change something in my life. I want to set my own course. I want to go back to something that is meaningful to me. And again, it doesn't mean you know, kick people out of your life. Perhaps you do, but that's not necessarily it. It is more, I am pulling my energy home and working on things that make sense to me, and learning to set myself free of expectations from the past, expectations that from other people, and perhaps, you know, expectations that you've had to yourself that you just have to realize are not really doing what you're wanting them to do. So let's see here. One last card, Spirit. And again, please give the reading a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you like this type of reading. I read a lot on shadow work. I read a lot of inner child, past lives, twin flames, that type of thing. But a lot on shadow work and healing, you know, our inner traumas and all of that stuff. Ten of Wands here. Page of Pentacles. There's something about making sure that you show up for you, you know, not taking on all the burdens of everybody else. Not that you can't help people, not yet that you know you can't do that, but it's like before you do that, show up for yourself. Make sure that your needs are taken care of, that you are manifesting the life that you are dreaming of. You know, it's, and up to, you know, it might feel a little bit selfish, but it's okay to be selfish in the sense that you can do more for others when you do for yourself, so that you feel grounded and aligned and good, and you're growing and you're happy, and you know that gives you more energy to do good for others as well. So make sure that you protect your own energy, your own space, your own visions and dreams. um yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a new perspective. Some of you are needing a perspective that says it's okay to take care of me. It really is okay to take care of you. It's okay to set your own course. It's okay to work on letting go of expectations that people have placed on you, life has placed on you, society has placed on you. You know, it's okay to choose your own way. Here's Five of Pentacles. Two of Wands. Yeah, you know, a new plan, a new way of being that's not based in something that feels like lack, that feels like you're not really being who came here to be. Here's the Seven of Swords. Why is the Seven of Swords here? Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is you, or this is Spirit asking you to walk away from old stories that are not true about who you are, why you're here, what you came here to do. Old pattern that says, no, no, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You're not, you know, educated enough. You're not all of that. This is all of this. And Spirit saying, no, no, there's a new plan here. You're supposed to set your own course, and it's time to start. All right, that's what I had for you. I hope it resonates with you, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Big, big love.